This is Goose. Goose's mom doesn't like her on the table, on the counter, but she's gonna be up here anyway for just to show off. Look how pretty it is outside. Look at that. Yes, I know. Hello. I had a knock set. That was rude. What's up, everybody? All right. I got a new bow in the mail. So, first, we're gonna show it off a little bit. And then I'm gonna show you how I build a bow from the ground up, from pulling it out of the box to getting it to go shoot, trying to set it up to tune it. So I cheated. I already opened it up and looked at it. This is probably my favorite color that I've seen from Hoyt. And it is their white. I'm not sure what the technical name is, what they call it. But this is gorgeous. When I pulled it out, the light was hitting it right that I almost thought it was like a chrome color. But yeah, Snow White. I think this is, I don't know, this is my favorite color. This is my favorite color bow I've ever owned. And ever since I started shooting recurve a long time ago when I was a youngin' in high school, I wanted a white bow, and Hoyt has had a white bow discontinued for a long time, and I never had the money to buy a white bow when they had them. So this is a first for me. Goose, you're gonna hear the cat. Okay, get started. We're gonna get started here. Yes, come here. You're gonna say hi to everybody. Come here. This is Goose. Goose's mom doesn't like her on the table, on the counter, but she's gonna be up here anyway for just to show off. So you're probably gonna hear her running around. Okay, first thing that I do, these bows have the ability to put weights in the pockets. Hoyt's got a little goodie bag here. It comes with some weights. Okay, a couple 1 ounce weights in there. They got all the tools, all the plates, all that jazz. We're gonna start with the weights here. I also have ramrods. I'm trying to read that. We have ramrods weights here for our limb pockets. These are my favorite. It packs more of a punch, a little heavier. This is 3.5 ounces versus the 2 1 ounce squares that we get here. So I'm gonna put this in the bottom pocket. I prefer weight in the bottom pocket more so than the top. When I have shot the XD very well in the past, when it first came out, I had 3.5 ounce weights in both pockets. I'm not sure which one I like more. I'm not sure which one performs better, to be honest with you, but we're probably gonna mess around and find out. So for now, I'm just gonna put 2 ounces in the top, and I'm just gonna open this up. Longer screw if you're gonna double stack them like what I'm about to do. So we're gonna drop that in there. Try not to scratch this paint. I think it's Cerakote. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is it looks good. There we go. Like a glove. Just goes in there like that. Did I pick the right wrench? Nope. Nope. There we go. Screw that in there. Nice and snug. And then the really cool one goes in the bottom pocket. I like having my bows be bottom heavy. It helps the reaction a little bit more. If I have too much weight up top, sometimes the bow kicks back and I get goofy contact issues. That's what I've noticed in the past. Okay, weights are in. Next part is the performance tillers right here. Dovetail? No, not dovetail. The rockers. They're rockers. I always slide these into comfort. Always. Because I'm a sissy, I guess. I don't know, there's a better way to put it. I picked the wrong wrench again. This is really cool. There we go. So, super simple adjustment. You know, just unscrew it, slide it all the way to the back. This is where I've shot the bow the best. This is where it feels best to me. Super slick, super easy. Did I scratch it already? No, I didn't scratch it already. All right. I'm gonna do the same thing. To this side. I've heard of people testing these differently. I may try it in the future where you have like one side on performance and one side on comfort. Instead of adjusting tiller. I may try that in some point in the future. That might make sense for us string walkers that, you know, we change where we're grabbing pretty frequently. So we have different dynamics than like Olympic bows do. So there's always something to consider with that. Okay, limb pockets are done. I tighten the limb bolts all the way in. That's my next step, is I tighten these limb bolts in all the way. I'm gonna stick the limbs in till it clicks. Do it till it clicks, or you're gonna throw a limb across the room. I did that once, collegiate nationals. I was helping my teammate the best I could. And I tried to string his bow the way I normally do, you know, stick the limb tip in my foot and push, and I shot a limb halfway across the field. That was cool. All right, we're gonna put the best strings on the market on this bow. Recurve Plus. This is the performance build, so I think it's the 20 strands. It's the Barebow build. If you call them up or order online, Barebow build. So it's got a thicker center serving for a number 2 knock. At least that's what I do. And then they make it longer up on top so you don't get in trouble for using your serving as like a peep sight, like John Demmer did that one time. Yes, Goose, I know. All right, stringing her up. Okay, that's done. I have to grab my T-square. I'll be right back. Uncoordinated this looks, and it feels even worse than it looks. There's no particular reason. I usually set up my rest so that the arm, the end of the arm, kind of where the arrow sits, is close to the plunger. It makes sense in my head. I don't know if that's right or wrong, so listen to me if you want. Probably shouldn't. But if you didn't want to listen to me, you probably aren't watching this. So it doesn't really matter either way. Gosh, this bow looks good, doesn't it? I'm a big fan of the white. Tighten this down. We'll mess with it a little bit. Tonight, tomorrow. Seems like the tolerances are really good on this rest. There's not a lot of wiggle room. Tighten that down. Perfect. The bow is almost built. Now, I'm going to break off this. We're gonna put on a weight system. There's lots of weight systems. Hoyt sent me their finest. Their Barebow weight system with the rings. We will we'll test between that and a couple other things. For those of you who aren't aware, that's what it looks like. There's 3 different ring sizes. There's a 20, a 30, and a 40. They have little micro beads inside of them that help with dampening. You can audibly notice a difference with those. Feel a difference with those. They work very well. Designed by Douglas Denton himself, the king of engineering. Let's see. We're gonna take this grip off. I bet this white's gonna look really good. A white grip on here. While I'm sitting here messing with this stuff, if you guys are seeing this, go in, comment whatever questions you want to have about bow setup, how in depth you want to go, what are some things that you have questions about, things you don't understand, why do I do something the way I do it, why don't I do some things. Oh yeah, that'll look pretty good. Very nice. Very nice, very nice. Screw that in. I like the white. I have like a American flag one too that I would prefer to put on here, but it's on a different bow. I built a bow for a bow hunter specific tournament. So I have my 21-inch Satori built, and it's got my other cool looking grip. And then my Pink Exceed has a pink grip on it. I don't know that a pink grip would look as good on this right now anyway, so. A lot of white. White limbs, white string, white riser, white grip, gold plunger. Okay. What is that? The mark on the string. Anyway, we are going to put this Ramrod's dampening shield weight. This is a 12-ounce dampener. It's got powder tungsten in here, and I've loaded it up with other powder tungsten dampeners, and then 24 ounces of tungsten. There's 3 8-ounce stacks of tungsten on here. So I think that's, let's see, 8, so 32 plus the 12, 44 ounces on this system. So a little heavier than the Hoyt. You have a little more adjustability with this. You have 2, 4, 6 spots to put weight. You can stack it up. Zach has a unholy amount of weight on his. I will not be doing that or participating in that because I'm not that strong. And I have no will or want to have over 100 ounces on my bow. Okay, so here's that. It looks good. I always like to do a little snap to see what the reaction would be, right? Because I don't want the bow to tip back, and I don't want it to, right, necessarily tip forward super hard. I just want a nice even jump out of the hand. And this weight seems to do that fairly well. Okay, so we have the weights. Next would be aligning the string. And to do that, I'm going to take this weight system back off. I know I just teased you all with that. But you'll see why here in a minute. Okay. The way that I line up a bow is fairly simple. Biter blocks, we all know and love biter blocks. First, I'm gonna line up the limbs, and then I'm gonna make sure it's on plane. So, please hold. We'll move to a spot where we can look at the alignment a little bit easier. Okay, so as we can see, it's pretty good. Not quite perfect. So I'm gonna make some adjustments. We are just first gonna line up each biter block. We're just gonna get them to be perfectly lined up. And after we shift stuff around to get them lined up, I will show you our next step. So I don't know if the camera sees it as well as I do. It's pretty well lined up. Next step. All right, so we're gonna take 2 parallel shafts, just like this. We're gonna go to this lower part of the riser down here, and we're gonna stick them flush to either side. And we're gonna see if there's a bias on one side or the other. So I'm gonna hold these right here, like so. And this, let's see if I can hold it. Now I know my brother gets paid so much to be a cameraman. This is really hard to do on your own. As you can see, it is closer to one side or the other. It's closer to the right. So, what I'm going to do, since it is closer to this side, I'm going to shift both limbs and even them out to the left. And then we're gonna check again. Okay, when I'm doing this, it's important to not do it a lot. It looked like the string was pretty close to the other arrow, but we need to do like at most 1/8 of a turn for, yes, Goose, at least just 1/8 of a turn. So I'm just gonna crack it till it stops. I'm gonna crack it till it comes loose, and I'm gonna gently go back to tightening it till I meet resistance. And I'm gonna do that an equal amount on both sides. See, I loosened it, and I'm gonna bring it back till there's a little bit of resistance, and then I'm gonna stop. Generally, these have the very similar tolerances, so I can tighten that, and we can pay attention to how much it moves, right? So roughly 1/8 of a turn on each side. Oh, that one didn't move as much. Yikes. We're gonna have to check that alignment again. Okay, we fixed it. Both limbs are lined up, and now we are going to check once again if it's on plane using the arrows. So I'm gonna set this back on the almighty beanbag. Okay, set this here. And check this. We're still quite a ways over. So we're gonna move it even more so. Look how pretty it is outside. Look at that. Okay, back again. I figured out why it wasn't doing what it was supposed to on the last time I tried it. It was because I moved it the wrong way. So we're gonna try this again. Put the arrows on. That looks perfect. I'm gonna try to hold this here. Grab my. Okay, so I think I got it. We're gonna hold the arrows up. We're gonna see how it looks. That looks about perfect. Let's get, doing this one-handed is wild. Perfect. Perfectly in the middle, lined up, just like that, equidistant between the 2 arrow shafts. This has to be done with a parallel, whoopsies. This has to be done with a parallel shaft for, I mean, fairly common sense reasons, right? If I use a barreled shaft, it probably won't line up the same. If you held it perfectly in the same spot on the barrel on the riser, then it could work, but a parallel shaft's just a lot easier. Okay, now the bow is lined up and on plane. Now we're gonna get center shot with our arrows. When I set up a bow, traditionally what I have done is I always throw the weak spring in. That's how I get my left and rights to shoot good. And I set the arrow like half of a shaft outside of center shot. So when I line up my bow, like so, I don't know if it's lined up or not, but it'll be close. This edge of the string basically cuts the point in half at the very end. That's how I've always set up my bows. That's how it's always worked for me. I generally can get them to shoot a straight line across most distances. And that's where I've gotten good enough groupings to not mess with it. All right. So as we look at this, we line it up. We get the top centered. We got roughly half the point outside of the string. That's perfect. When it comes to plunger height, oopsies. When it comes to plunger height, we want it, I always put it in the middle, just like this. This wire is a little too far out. I want this wire to rest on the side of the shaft, right in that little crotch, that little divot. I want that to meet up. So we're gonna make that adjustment. But this height is almost perfect for how I want it. We can see it lines up right in the middle of the plunger. That's where we're gonna leave that. Since this is an old string, I had a knock set. Hello, Goose. Yes, I know. Hello. I had a knock set. That was rude. Yeah. Since I had a knock set, that was already on there. Otherwise, I would have tied that first, or my arrow would be sliding up and down the string. So we're gonna make that adjustment, and that's gonna be it. Yes, I know. That's gonna be it for us. That's my setup. That's how I do this. That's how I've always done it. That's how I was taught to do it. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Reach out on social media. Do whatever you need to. I'm very happy to help. Zach's always happy to help. So, all right. Thanks for watching. One last thing I forgot is a wrist sling. I love rocking the wrist sling. Okay, and this is made by Winter Cutlery out of Colorado. His name is Eric. He's an awesome dude. He makes an awesome product. And I have to use a wrist sling because I lose everything. I have lost so many finger slings in my life, and I'd probably lose my head if it wasn't attached to my shoulders. But it's attached to the bow. I'm not gonna lose it unless I lose my whole bow. And if I lose my whole bow, I'm in a lot of trouble. So you should go out and get one. These things are awesome. I like the shot reaction with them. It's better. It's all around better in my opinion. So go get you one. Winter Cutlery.